Imagine that the water represents an essay. Do you see how it flows? That is how you want your own essay to look like to get a top grade. So today I'm going to do the first part of the video, which is about improving your style in essay writing in French, but I had to cut it because it was a little bit too long. So the first part today is going to focus on the flow, while the second part will focus on the content. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! How to improve your style in essay writing in French. Here are my 5 tips. But before I give you the 5 tips, I would like to tell you that we are going to look at the light paragraphs, logical sequence, and structures relevant to the level. For an essay to flow, you need to get to the point without losing the reader. So if there are too many words and we're not sure where the subject is in the sentence, the reader may just get lost. And you need to remember that that reader may be your examiner. So my advice to you is to avoid sentences with more than 20 words. I think 20 words is a good limit. And by really focusing on what you want to say without using too many words, you will be more efficient. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do it? Simply by using fewer words when possible. So my example here, with 8 words, de plus en plus de personnes sur Internet, etc. is not a sentence, not a full sentence, but the beginning of a sentence. And what I'm saying in English is more and more people on the Internet. So I'm going to show you how we can reduce this to 4 words. Un nombre croissant d'internautes. Un nombre croissant means an increasing number, which is de plus en plus. And then personnes sur Internet, we have a word in French for it, which is internaute, so we are going to use it. And this gives us un nombre croissant d'internautes, an increasing number of people on the internet. Okay, it may not really work in English, but it certainly does in French. And that's what I'm advising you to do as tip number 2. Have you noticed the cascade? Have you noticed that it was very light? And we're going to do the same by avoiding the passive voice. The passive voice, of course, can be used, but very often I find that students like to use the passive voice and it makes the paragraph very heavy. We don't want that. An example of the passive voice here, mobile phones are used by more young people nowadays. Are used by, that tells you that is the passive voice. Now, how are you going to change from the passive voice to the active voice? Very simple. More young people use mobile phones nowadays. There are fewer words, it's lighter, and it says exactly the same thing. My 4th tip is really about using complex sentences. But when I say complex sentences, I don't want you to go into very difficult structures. I just would like you to come out of the mold of subject, verb, object. So sentence 1 is subject, verb, object. Sentence 2 is subject, verb, objects. And it becomes very monotonous and it shows that you don't know much about the structures. So show what you can write, and trust me, you will be rewarded for it. So let me give you an example. Here are two simple sentences. What I mean by simple sentences, you have a subject, a conjugated verb, and an object. This is called simple because we only have one conjugated verb. So the first one is young girls use mobile phones. And the second sentence is they find their phones useful. So you can see that there's already the word phones. You could have they find them useful as well. But by using a connector, you're going to get one sentence, and that is going to make it a complex sentence because you're going to have now two conjugated verbs. Youngsters use mobile phones because they find them useful. So that's how you can actually make complex sentences without having very difficult structures. Because whatever you write, you need to make sure that it is correct. There's no point going for complex sentences and they are all wrong. So let's look at the connectors. And we have quite a few of them. So I have put the English for you because I know that this is the way you're going to look at them, is in English first. And then this is the French. So you have nevertheless, which is néanmoins, however, cependant, yet, pourtant, furthermore, en outre, on the other hand, en revanche, because, parce que, because of, be careful, it doesn't start with parce que, it's totally different, it's à cause de, and in spite of or despite, en dépit de. That's it for me for today. I hope that you found the video useful. Please show it by liking it, sharing it, and of course don't forget to subscribe. And thank you if you have. Au revoir!